Guys, this is B. Arthur. She's my golden girl. She's 8 years old, and she's a real tubbo.
She's a chalupa.
Yeah, she's a chalupa. Her owner died, and she was at a shelter with in a dog cage because she couldn't fit in the cat cage. And
Not that we're fat shaming.
Hashtag time's up.
B, you're perfect. And then my sweet friend April saw her online and got her to an animal rescue. My friend Jess runs called Boomer's Buddies. And then one of my kitties died and they said, come meet B, who used to be called Obese Denise. That was her name on the internet. And now she's B. Arthur. She's 8 years old and she's, oh my God, guys. She's so cute. And every day she brings me my slippers. I have to send you a video so we can put it in because it's really the cutest thing ever.
Well.
Okay, she's not trained. Guys, it's like living with Garfield. Okay, you can go. Welcome to Showmance, the only show on the internet doing deep dives on shows with no depth.
If my boob show, I'm sorry in advance.
If your boob show...
Yeah, what are you apologizing for?
That would be you're welcome, world.
Listen.
Minnie's not happy about not being
Minnie
right.
is on the other side of the wall.
Minnie thinks she's getting recasted. She's not
We're just trying a chemistry test with
happy
someone else.
about it. Not happy. Well, we're back to boring reality TV shows, I guess. All the drama got sucked out of this show in the Bahamas.
Oh my God, this episode was a real snooze fest.
Yeah. I don't know how this happens, but I'll sometimes forget to watch the after show. And I love the after show. I don't know why I forget. But I watched it late last time. And one thing that was so funny that was on the last one for Southern Charm is that Rodrigo says, did you know that Shep was wearing fake butt shorts when Sienna broke up with him? They were Rodrigo's. And for whatever reason, Shep wore them out that night.
Wait, what? What butt shorts? What?
They're like
they had padded
you can buy a padded
shorts.
booty shorts.
Oh man.
I guess Rodrigo had some, and I don't know how it happened, whether Shep asked for them thinking it would be funny or Shep asked for them thinking I could use a little extra, because he did just lose a bunch of weight. So maybe he lost his butt and he was feeling insecure.
He said that was a really great trait he used to have was a butt. So
Was
I
a
don't know
good
if
butt?
he lost
Oh,
it
so
or
maybe
anything.
he's like trying to show like,
Yeah.
okay, I still have a butt. But Rodrigo said, how embarrassing. Get dumped while you're wearing a fake
I can
butt.
wear that because I'm a married man. I have some, what's it called?
Yeah, his dignity.
Yeah, dignity. That's where I have some dignity, Shep. Okay, I started to rewatch all the Southern Charm S1E1. That's where I started, obviously. When we're now getting in the top of the episode, when we're getting into the conversation that Craig and Austin had about, I just assumed, Austin, that you knew when I said I wasn't drinking, because I know what that means to me with my family history. I know why someone stops drinking, but Austin didn't get that, which is interesting because I feel like I would have gotten that also, and I don't have a history of addiction or alcoholism in my family. Maybe it's because I know a lot of sober people as an adult.
Just if I can interject real quick, one thing I do remember, and I remember you commenting on it and me being like totally, is when someone went, I don't remember who it was, but they went to Austin's parents and his mom was like, do you want a gimlet? I can make you this. I can make, like, there was the list of drinks she was offering and making to a guest at the house was like, are we in a bar right now? What the hell? Like, is that where you were going?
Yeah.
Yeah, got it.
Because as I'm rewatching this, first of all, Shep, I think it's in season 2, Shep, Whitney, and oh my God, they're gonna break down the door.
Dude, it's on. No door.
He's like,
No pocket door can hold Minnie
don't threaten
back.
me with a good time. I will knock that door down myself.
Oh my God. It literally, B is 27 pounds and Minnie is what, 6?
2.7 pounds.
Yeah, exactly. Oh
Maybe.
God. And she's not a violent cat. It's just, you introduce them slowly. So anyway, I'm just, okay. In season 2, Shep, Whitney, and Craig go to Whitney's family's home in Delaware. And it was right when like Craig just got fired because he was partying all night, doing Adderall, wasn't showing up to his job. And his dad just said, listen, you got to watch it with the drinking because that runs in our family. So I just forgot that historically, like we've heard this before. So in season 2, Shep, Whitney, and Craig all go back to Craig's family home in Delaware. And he had just lost his job and he'd been drinking too much, doing Adderall, all that stuff. And all of the guys are coming down on him for it because he's really in a bad spot. And he just got fired because of all of this. And Craig's dad is like, you need to really watch out because alcoholism runs in our family. So clearly they've talked about it a little bit on the show before. And then the next thing, which is what Mike was just touching on, is and I'm a drinker, okay? Like I am an equal opportunity drinker. I love booze. It could be Coors Light, which by the way, on one of the episodes, Whitney was drinking a Coors Light when he was in LA at his house. I was like, it's everybody loves it. From the aristocracy to the Jersey girls. I was blown away. Every single scene, at least in the first 3 seasons, and then I went to rewatch this most recent episode. It all starts with, do you want something to drink? And they get a beer, they pour a glass of wine. You're at Miss Pat's house. She's calling for her medicine.
Yeah.
She needs a dressing drink. She needs her gimlet martini, like her Beefeaters martini. I mean, they drink.
Yeah.
So the fact that Craig could even do this is kind of miraculous.
Yeah.
And I just think that it really is, like, their tap water is vodka in the South.
Yeah.
It's gotta be. Like, they are all booze hounds, and no shade, because so am I. It was just crazy to me to actually pick up on that. And then I'm thinking to myself, I wonder if it's like that in present day episodes. And I start the episode and what's his name's Austin's sister comes into the house with a warm bottle of rosé and he's opening a Trop Pop.
After stocking the Trop Pop fridge.
Correct.
I think it was the first reunion where they all got a bunch of backlash from Charleston. And I think it was Thomas that was like, said something along the lines of like, everyone's pretty mad at a lot of the drinking. And Andy maybe was like, right, but that's how it goes in Charleston or something like that. And Thomas said that his friend said, yes, that's true, but we don't talk about it. And that was why everyone was mad.
Yeah.
Like, no, we party, but we keep it to our, we're not we don't blast it out on TV. So I thought that was funny that's one of the things that they were mad about is exposing how alcoholic of a city Charleston is.
Yeah, and it's funny because I think maybe as you move outside to some of the suburbs, like where Catherine grew up, Monk's Corner or something like that. I mean, she lives in a totally dry house because she had, I think, a relative that died from alcoholism. So they were like, okay, nobody ever again is drinking. And maybe it wasn't died of alcoholism, but there was some alcohol-related death. And now, like, you don't even bring alcohol into their home because when Thomas Ravenel showed up to meet her family for the first time, he's like, oh, I'll bring a bottle of whiskey, I'll bring some wine. She's like, you'll be bringing nothing to my Nana's table.
Yeah.
We don't drink. And he's like, well, but I'm going to drink. And she's like, no, you won't. Meanwhile, they sit down and the dad and him are talking and there's like 2 years of an age gap between them. And that's totally fine.
Yeah, no,
like,
not a problem.
You could, be boinking my daughter who's 29 years your junior. And he's like, we had my great aunt. She married someone 40 years her senior. So nothing too bad here. And I'm like, wow.
I feel like when she's telling her grandmother about Thomas for the first time, and she's like, he's a little bit older. And the grandma's like, well, how old is he? And she goes, he's 50. And she goes, 50. That's a good age.
That's exactly what she says.
And
I like an older
literally,
man.
I think at the time, Catherine's like 21 years old or something.
Yes, because this was the first season.
Yeah.
It's different.
That's a good age.
It was a different
listen,
time.
no shade if you like older men, but like that's just a lot. Like that
the fact that your elders are always going to be harder on you about everything. The fact that her grandmother had nothing to say about the age gap,
but also
clearly nobody would then.
The fact that like you just had a pregnancy, and she told her grandmother that they had a pregnancy scare with a guy who was 29 when you were born.
Yeah.
But God forbid you bring a rosé to the table. That I'm drawing the line.
Yeah.
Blasphemy.
The thing I'm most impressed with about the boozing there is that, like if I drank that much, I would just be swollen. I would just be like, it would show in my skin. It would show in my, it would just show all over me.
But it does.
And they seem to Well, maybe it's the makeup. Maybe they have better makeup.
I
than
feel
me.
like the women, like they handle it, but you can tell, like especially with Thomas and some of these, and I know that these are old seasons, but in some of his confessionals, I mean, he's like his face is like a windshield, like it's just so flat and expansive. And then you can also tell with Shep, like with the bags and all that stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, they drink. In one of the episodes, Shep was making the mistake and he was putting like seasoning on the steak, and Whitney goes, low sodium for me. I'm like, right. So, because you're getting all your sodium from vodka.
Yeah.
Anyway, it really struck me when they were rehashing this conversation, like Craig with Paige and Austin with his sister. Because I just thought, of course, if someone says they're not drinking, clearly they realize it's not right for them in some capacity. So just let them be. But that society is so built around consuming booze.
Yeah.
Party.
Anyway.
Party.
Also, if anyone knows who makes Paige's pajamas in that first scene, I would love to know. Do you know? They were so cute.
I was not impressed.
Oh, I loved them.
I thought, even from a guy who works in television, it's so funny that two people wake up in bed on a reality show and smitchy, let's get to breakfast. And then they hop out of bed, out of the covers with mic packs on in their pajamas. Like, that's always like,
and
you guys
makeup
had to get out of bed to get the mic packs on and then get back in bed and wake up. Like, it's just, it always makes me laugh.
It's not all in the morning when they're shooting anyone. It's not like they have makeup on like how you and I have makeup on right now. It's like Mike's makeup. I'm just kidding. Mike's
No,
not
it's like
wearing
how
makeup.
every woman in the 50s used to wake up an hour before their husband would go and wash their face and put a little light whatever on, just so they could turn over and be like, oh, hello.
You know what they called those? The good old days.
Barf. Yeah, it's just a little, concealer here, a little rouge there.
A little mic pack there.
I usually watch the show first on just like regular TV with, how the average American is supposed to enjoy television. Now we're like, I'm like watching this 4 times to make sure I didn't miss anything. But anyhow, my first take is usually from the enjoyment of my couch, my living room. For whatever reason, I think it's because I was flying home. I missed a day. I ran out of time. So I was watching it on my phone with my earbuds in and running around. And so I had to come grab something in the kitchen, and I come in, I run in here, and then I just hear, I'm like half paying attention, and I just hear Craig go, I think I want you up on the countertop. And I'm like, what? Like I almost like tripped over 17 Amazon boxes to like dart back to my nightstand to like get my phone and be like, what's happening? Oh,
Making bacon.
But then it got me thinking.
Oh, what did it get you thinking, Natalie?
I just think that there's going to be some lucky lady
on
that's
that
sitting
countertop.
on that countertop any second now.
Named Kristen Cavallari.
Kristen Cavallari.
You don't think there's already some lady?
That's what I'm going to
parts
finish
on that
saying.
counter?
Like, if there hasn't been already, there's always upsides to a breakup for a dude. New boobs,
Listen, new boobs are great, but also Craig, I don't like. That's not Craig's jam. Like,
That's one of my
dudes
favorite
used to-
things about
Yeah,
him.
they used to make fun of him that he
I
was super
know.
picky and like didn't really sleep around a ton.
Yeah.
Because he was so picky and peculiar about like who he was with.
said it in the reunion I was just watching for season 2. He was talking about him versus Shep when they go out in their game. And he's like, I'm a sniper and Shep is a crusher. And he's like, those aren't actual like military terms. What like the sniper is. He's like, but what the hell's a crusher? And he said, I'm just that kind of person where I go out and I see a girl, I meet a girl, and that's it. Like, I like her, and we're either going to go home and hang out, or I'm just going to go home alone, because that's the only person that's going to scratch that itch for me.
Yeah.
And Shep is like, I'm sweeping up the floor to find something if I've struck out with every chick at this bar. Like, I will go home and I will get this box checked.
Yeah.
And I just...
No pun intended.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I thought you were going somewhere with that.
Oh, no, sorry. I really dropped the ball on that. But I do wonder, now that we bring it up, if they broke up end of October, right? Or no, they broke up
like Thanksgiving weekend.
Okay, so end of
like
November.
The end of November, yeah.
So December, January, February. So it's been like 3.5 months. She's definitely, because she's hooking up with this guy.
Yeah.
I feel like what do you think? 2-3 people max for Craig thus far.
I don't know. Like, listen, I keep going back and forth with Craig so much. Like, everything that we know about him, like of what he shows us, he might not have nailed anyone yet. I feel like I'm more and more every day I'm seeing Craig for being a grown-ass man who's going to take care of business when he wants, needs, whatever.
On that counter, Natalie.
On that countertop.
Are you talking about hookers?
No.
How did you get
Nothing.
there?
No shade to sex workers, but that's just not what she was talking
like,
about.
I just don't think like if Craig is as picky as he is, you think that he's hiring sex workers?
You could be pretty picky.
I don't know.
No, Craig is like a hopeless romantic, seen all the rom-coms. I feel like if you're a really successful guy and you are hiring sex workers, you're not paying them to come, you're paying them to leave. And I don't think that Craig is in that mindset of like just like I think he wants to hang with someone.
He's pissed that his housekeeper twinged his burner the wrong way, and he's not letting some strange up in there.
Oh God.
So we normally shoot the day after the show airs. So we normally shoot Southern Charm on Fridays, but because of Mike's schedule, today's Monday, so we're shooting today. When you have that much time, like you're seeing things that you don't normally see before you shoot, just some TikToks and people's reactions, like just viewer reactions to things. And I noticed that like there's a lot of people that are all like up in arms about Paige saying what I clearly took as a joke when she's like, if I have to leave with the kids in the middle of the night, I will. Everyone thinks that Craig is such a blazing alcoholic because she had to tell him, just so you know, I will take the kids. Like
they don't even have kids.
They don't even have kids.
It was such kids, dude. Like, that was such a weird comment.
But like
after all this, and we're now months away from breaking up, and what?
I just think
this whole
she's
episode
being funny.
for
Like,
Paige was weird as hell. It was weird as hell.
Like
the backyard was weird as hell. That comment was weird. It was weird.
It wasn't. There's like a whole SNL skit of like this Long Island mom who's like always complaining about her husband, and you know, I'm taking the kids to my sister's. Like she's always like, and she says it like 12
I thought she was just
times.
joking.
She says like 12. Like the whole sketch is that line. So like, yeah, don't push me, mister. I'll take the kids in the middle of the night and hightail it out. Like it's clearly a joke. She's a very dry, funny, jokey
I don't
person.
disagree. I think it was a joke too.
Yeah.
It just wasn't. It was a really weird. It was a weird, like the backyard, the jokes from the backyard. That's Paige DeSorbo's jokes on Craig. This was almost like weird and like if I was Craig's a nice guy. I am not a nice guy. If I was me, I would be like, what the do you mean, kids? Like I would have started a thing right there and been like, what kids are you taking?
I'm not a nice guy.
But like, do you know what I mean? Like you want to around? What are you talking about? What kids? I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to Paige. I'm saying like that to me, that was a
bridge too far.
That was a 17 bridges too far. That was just a full dig.
So and Mike's part of your TikTok community that was pissed about that comment.
Yeah. My literal last thing was like, and to those people, I say, relax.
Don't relax.
He's those people.
I think it was a joke. Like I don't know if those people are like it wasn't a joke. I think she was joking, but I think it was because there's no kids. You're not giving this guy kids. You never were going to give him kids.
He comes back and says, "I know, because you make your own money." That's kind of rude.
Read between the lines.
So I guess we'll read between all the lines then, because that's
not rude. That's Paige. Paige doesn't need a man. She doesn't need kids. She doesn't need anything because she's set herself up that way. She makes her own money. She has her own career. Great. Good for you. Nobody's that.
I took all these as jokes, just for the record.
Yes, but jokes, I did too. It was a joke, but jokes can be super mean and piss people off. Like, were you a kid? Like, it's 2025.
Molly, get a decorator.
Oh no, Molly has bigger fish to fry before a decorator.
Like you don't have to do your whole house or your whole apartment. You don't even have to do the whole room. Like, do you know how many content creators like literally buy like a peel and stick fake wood so that they can just have a corner that
Yeah.
it looks like there's something, and they put it on the ground and then they rip it up and or they leave it there or whatever. Like you can really do a lot with a little. And also maybe just call Venita and ask her to help. She seems like she'd be helpful in the small space
Or JT's mom.
area. Or JT's mom.
Well, wait, two things about this. One, her aesthetic is as boring as Shep's, which maybe is why they could be like a great couple together.
Wait,
Yeah.
Molly?
Yeah.
What aesthetic? Paycheck to paycheck? Like, no offense, I'm not the richest person in the world. Like, but Molly's aesthetic is, don't come to my, can we not shoot at my place?
When I first
Because
moved
I
out to
don't
LA, I
have
didn't
a
have a
nice
pot.
place.
Keep shooting at her place. So
I don't
I'm
know
just,
why. But
yeah,
I
so
just
that's
think,
why I just want to say, if you're going to continue to let them come shoot at your house, it doesn't take a lot to do. Like, this is a
Agreed.
set. If we could do it, you could do it.
Just one little corner. But I think that there are people who just don't really have style. They're not really into how their homes, apartments, condos, whatever look. And she just could be one of those. Like,
She clearly is. I
Yeah.
just think, like, with great power comes great responsibility.
Agreed. But to that end, you bring up Venita. Yes, Venita's place is adorable, but Venita is a slopopotamus.
Is she?
In the scene where she's in bed talking to Leva, I'm looking in the background. She's got like clothes piled up. And granted, maybe she just got home from vacation, but a camera crew is coming.
Yeah.
Close the door, put it in a hamper, separate your whites and your darks out of the shot. Madison would never. I'm just saying her
but like,
tight and right.
it seems to me like these people have money. Molly seems like she's still working on getting that money.
If she was like
Dude.
a model, it seems like she would have made some money at some point. She
It
just seems like
seems like
she doesn't
it, but-
care about
Mike,
any
let
of
me
this stuff.
explain
Listen.
something to you about interior design. I came out to Los Angeles without a pot to piss in or a window to throw it out of. And my apartment, I was waiting tables. My apartment was so cute. I had everything. I had my little vintage sofas that like were clean and looked nice. I took old record covers and like put them as like artwork on the wall. I bought paint at the local hardware store and painted stuff. I went to Target and bought a bedspread. Like, you just need taste. That's what I'm saying. You don't need money. That's what I'm saying. I don't think she really has a high level of taste.
Yeah.
I just think she's one of those girls that's like, oh, whatever, it's a bedspread, just throw it on there.
I'm always like just thinking, Molly, like, you've been around like probably very beautiful sets where just like even just like this is sitting up to add a pop of pink out of nowhere, like thinking like you've inhaled that long
Yeah.
enough to pick up on some of it. No. She just didn't.
You can go on any set, a movie set, TV set, it doesn't matter. And you could have never been on a set ever in your life, never even seen a TV show or a movie ever in your life. And I could take you to any set and say, find me the wardrobe people. And pretty much everyone will be able to do it. And I don't know why. It's because they are the most horrifically dressed people on the entire production. Like, horrible. And it's the weirdest, the worst.
Okay.
The worst,
Listen,
craziest, funkiest, dumbest shit where they're like, no, this is
I
cool.
have
Like,
not
nope.
found that to be
not cool.
anything. I've worked with some insanely fantastically dressed wardrobe people.
No, yeah, man,
Dina
that's a lie.
Chicharon?
That's
Mean anything to you?
Literally might be the only person in
Allison
Hollywood.
Fanger on Grace and Frankie? Oh my God, I still see her to this day. Like, where did she find these glasses? I don't know.
I'm with you. That you.
Cool. Great.
I don't know, man. You work on competition reality shows. Maybe
We've
that's
worked on
it.
f***ing thousands of shows, but you guys probably know best. Anyways, just a joke. It was just a joke. Relax. Just
No,
jokes.
good. So many hot topics tonight. So many
I just would
hot
like it to be
buttons.
known that when I agree with Mike, Nat doesn't throw a fit. But if I say I agree with Natalie, you're like, of course. Yep. That's how it goes. The two uteruses against me. I love you, Mark, but so it's got a little sassy.
Thank God, dude.
Okay, Madison's mom, that scene, I don't care.
I know, like, listen, I want to address that because okay, we get to Madison's and like, it's a long scene and everything looks beautiful and perfect. Everything she's doing, what she's wearing, the way that her husband is treating her son, the fun that they're having, the house is spectacular. The mom's so cute with her little blonde bob.
And then Madison with her mermaid hair.
her mermaid hair and her cute little eyelet, like just like the perfect little short set.
Yep.
I'm not even a fan of sets. And every time Madison has a set on, I'm like, she did it again. That was probably the most important scene. Like, to tell your mother, like, I can finally exhale. My husband does not have cancer. Scans came back clean. We're going to try to get pregnant now. Like, this is a huge thing. I'm just so used to these trash people on this show that, like, I'm just like, okay, great. Everything's cool at Madison's. We can move forward.
Yeah.
Because, like, everyone else is just a piece of trash. And then she's doing everything right. And we should be, like, only talking about that scene because it's incredible. But, like, it's just the squeaky wheel doesn't get, only the squeaky wheel gets oiled.
No, it's so true. It's like, here you go. This is a beautiful example of like a modern family and health and happiness and her finding love. And meanwhile, we've just fried our brain and our dopamine receptors out on video games with shooting everyone. And I'm like, bring us back to Shep having a meltdown on the beaches of the Bahamas.
Or just like talking about how we literally just came from talking about Venita's place and Molly's place. Like Venita, she does decorate, but like apparently having a pile up
messy,
of crap,
Bessie.
super messy, and then going on about Molly having just the shittiest apartment known to reality TV. And then we go to Madison's, who lives in like the house of my dreams. If I'm gonna live in Charleston, like that's the house. I know they're moving into a bigger place. I'm sure it'll be even more spectacular.
Oh, they're moving?
Yeah, they're moving into a place down the street that's like, I think, because they want to grow the family.
That's really sweet.
Yeah. So her house is now on the market for like just under $1 million, I think.
We're moving to Charleston.
I know.
Do you know what you could get for $1 million in my neighborhood? A shack with a toilet bowl in the front yard.
No, they always
That's
have
nice.
those
Not
on TikTok
connected
where
to-
it'll be like a shack that's like half burnt down.
Yeah.
And then it'll have like a sign in the front of it that's like 1.5 million.
Yeah.
You're like, great.
Fixer upper. Oh,
Fixer
thanks.
upper.
I thought it was
Charming.
turnkey. We're just gonna move into this rustic.
Yeah. So anyways, thanks for showing up to work, Madison. Per usual, we can always rely on you.
Yeah.
And that's something.
That was
Yeah.
Okay, the next moment was Venita asking JT to this soiree. Why? You're like licking the boot that kicks you at this point. I don't get it, Venita.
I think I'm done commenting on JT and Venita this season. Those two, someone put together a 1,000-piece puzzle. Not a single piece is in the right spot. None of the edges are on the edges. And they presented it to us and they were like, what do you guys think of our puzzle? And we're actually, we're being like, you know what my favorite part of your puzzle is? I have a problem with this. This part of the puzzle really chaps my heart. It's not fucking done. This is nothing. This is a mix, mosh, hodgepodge, out of context. Here's some scrap footage of these two idiots. Let's see what we can get out of it. I feel like an asshole talking about these two now.
You're
I
right.
really do. I
You're
watched
right.
it and she's like, well, you need to, we ain't gonna do. And is the friend group going to be there? Yes, asshole. Yes, JT. Like, what are we doing? What are these two doing? I can't anymore.
Why? I don't even know where the whys should start, because they should start in an order of like they should be prioritized in an order of like how they matter. But like the first one will negate all the other ones, because it's like, why this? Oh, that doesn't make sense. So we should just leave the rest of everything out because that one doesn't hold anything. Why are you calling someone to ask them to be your plus one to an event that they have their own invite to? That's number one, which probably out of order with a plus one is usually like a date.
Yep.
If he has his own invite, he probably gets a plus one. Might want to take his girlfriend. I don't know. Maybe he doesn't. She'd probably like to go though. Maybe not. I don't know. But don't invite people to be your plus one who have their own invite. That's weird. You've made this whole thing weirder. It's dramatically weirder every week. Like there is the fact that you came out and made this big thing where the scenes are out of order. This is making me look like a homewrecker. Venita, you're a homewrecker. I don't know what you thought a homewrecker was, but you are aggressively trying to remove a man from his happy home.
Honestly, though, the fact that she went so out of her way to like clear my good name.
Yeah.
And I know I'm going to get in trouble against for saying this,
Yeah.
but they gave me a bad edit. And we did an entire episode on this bad edit, trying to piece together how she could have gotten a bad edit.
Yeah. We met up on an extra night that week.
Yeah, Venita.
To talk about your dirty edit. You didn't have one. You're just a dirty birdie.
Yeah, she literally has done this to herself.
Yeah. And it gets worse because I don't know if you guys have seen the latest.
No.
Which is like so funny because everyone else is probably like, yeah, grandma, this was like a week ago. But like we get to things when we get
You
to
heard
things.
it here
okay?
last.
Yeah, you
Okay,
heard it
guys.
here last. She's on the after show this week talking about how what guy with a girlfriend is out there letting another woman spend $5,000 on him for new clothes. She's going on about how she took JT shopping and bought him this like $5,000 outfit, which is apparently the outfit that he wore to like maybe the horse thing in the very beginning. I don't know. I don't know. I don't quote me on that, but I feel like they were commenting on it. Rodrigo was like, you spent $5,000 on that? That's a problem.
Venita paid $5,000 of her cash money for.
So she's saying that. And then Leva says back, because Leva and Venita are the after show buddies, like they're in the twofer. And Leva says, did he hit you with a Venmo after that? And then it just goes straight to it goes straight to Venita going, it's my best friend. Like insinuating, no, best friends don't pay each other back, which again, this could be another dirty edit, but at this point, you deserve it. I don't even care. Like you win some, you lose some. Like you didn't have one before, so it's going to cross cancel for me. So then JT goes on social media and says, here's the fucking PayPal receipt. I forgot my wallet in the car. I'm on crutches. So we both agreed, like, let's not walk back to the car. Let's just get the thing and then I'll PayPal you. PayPal's her, has the receipt, posts it.
Either Venita was just caught in a lie or she's getting one of the worst edits on Bravo ever. On the Southern Charm after show, Venita said she spent $5,000 on JT to get a suit tailored at Dumas. In the after show, it was portrayed as a gift from Venita to JT, saying that he did not pay her back the $5,000. Well, JT brought the receipts, literally. He said, we're best friends. I forgot my credit card in the car by accident and was hobbling with a cane a few days after a major ATV crash and PayPal'd her back in full after she insisted we not hobble back to the car to get the card. And then he sent the PayPal receipt. Yikes. Well, then Venita posted, I'm sorry for any confusion here. Leva asked me about a Venmo and he PayPal'd me. And I never said that he didn't pay me back. Here is the exact conversation that we saw on the after show.
Did you get a Venmo?
It's my best friend.
Yeah.
What?
I need Leva to enter the chat. Did she say he PayPal'd me and they just cut that out to make it seem like he didn't? I need to know.
So now Venita's going south on him. I don't understand. Like, it's like this whole show wants this dude off the show so bad because obviously at some point we're going to get into the barber comments. Like, it's like, listen, I don't like JT, so I honestly don't care. I really don't care how dirty anybody wants to do him. Just get it over with. Like, we don't need to torture this kid anymore.
God, I feel like it's like an animal that's like dangling
just take
to
the
its
axe
death.
to his head and like be done with it
Yes,
already.
like put it and us out of our misery.
Even Game of Thrones would have put this guy out of his misery like quicker than like Bravo.
It's just so like the math doesn't math on any of this. It's all so dumb. And not to completely skip ahead, but I don't know how we can't skip ahead without like if we're talking about this stuff.
Yeah, it's fine.
Like then when he sits down with Leva
Yeah.
to have this conversation because Ryan sees the same barber as you and he said that this is what this guy said.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Right then and there, he gets this guy on the phone. He says, did I say this? And he's like, no, you said that. I'm not saying that JT didn't call the guy before to coach him to say, please say that this is what I said. None of it ends up mattering because it's a storyline going nowhere.
Yeah.
He announces the fact that he's going to leave the show before the show starts airing. So you leave on the finale episode, you would have had more of an impact if you didn't show up for the finale.
Yeah.
That's when everyone would have cared more. So it's like all of this is it's a giant, I say it all the time, but it's a giant nothing burger and nothing makes sense. So it's like, how about this? I don't think he called Miss Patricia a bitch, but do I think that he maybe said something that was untoward about her or how she was acting? 100%. I don't think he was saying racist things. Here's B. I don't think he was describing Venita in a racist way. Do I think he was talking about the show with some guy because this show was the best thing that had ever happened to him, made him cool? Yes. But like, I don't care because none of it's a storyline. And like more than half of the cast hates you. And now the one person that didn't hate you is now turning on you and no one's giving us the real story. And I don't care.
Yeah,
I'm with Mike. By the way,
it's getting
there
too
you go,
weird.
Mike. I just agreed with you. I'm with Mike. I don't even want to talk about it anymore.
A little pep in your step.
Yeah. It didn't. He's already mad at me. It's fine.
I'm not mad at you.
So you know how like when I talk about him calling Patricia a bitch and how I think that like he probably did say something like that, I always go back to the time where he like just in his response, it's like all over his face and he's doing somersaults with the words I got a real, like not just a vibe like I usually, but like a real like, okay, you said that. It just all over him. That was not the case on this one. I don't think he said some black girl is coming after me and trying to get me to leave my boo. Like, I think what he probably said, like, just like describing storylines and like how the show is, because it's just like, I'm sure Barbara's asking, well, what's that like?
Yeah.
There's a girl on the show that is trying to get me to leave my girlfriend. Oh, which one is it? He could have easily just been like, she's the black girl, because there's only one on the show. So like, that's a very logical way to explain. You get straight to it. Oh, it's Venita. If he doesn't know her by name, well, then you're gonna know her because she is the only black girl on the show. The worser version, which like now I'm just because I hate JT, so like I'll entertain the worser version. It would be Worcestershire sauce version. Is that he is saying like, there's this girl that I'm kind of like flirty with, but like she's black, and like I don't like, just maybe he's saying something about like kind of insinuating why it would be an obstacle today. Like I can't tell, but I don't think he said some black girl on the show.
I don't either.
Like it just. I'm entertaining all of it. None of that shit was on his face when he's answering. And leave it to Leva, the race police. Leva's always on the job when someone is saying something that might have something to do with
walking the line or whatever. I do think
line.
that the one truth to what was said in all of that, because I agree with you, I don't think he said anything bad about Leva, because I really do think he does. I think he's a screwed up individual, but I do think like that previously, like before all this stuff that's coming out now in real time had come out, like I do think he really cared for Venita and had a good friendship with her. I think he did say like, oh, and my girlfriend's going to be upset, or like this is really going to piss off my girlfriend. That 100% I think he said that.
Yeah, totally.
But that's why this is also stupid.
I know, it's also stupid. I think one thing
what part is going to piss off your girlfriend, JT? The part where you're like, no, I feel this way. Oh, we can't. I have a girlfriend. Oh, mount me again. You're both assholes.
Me again.
Yeah.
Like, fuck them both.
No, they're both just flailing. If this thing on the after show where she's trying to peg him for basically taking money from her and just being a little gigolo about it, you know, then yeah, I hope they all leave at the end. I mean,
Venita has zero credibility to me now.
Yeah, no, she has nothing.
That story, the way she pushed so hard about this dirty edit, that's like, it doesn't even matter if you had a dirty edit, because now you're saying things after the fact that now you know he has a girlfriend and you're still asking him as your plus one. You're still saying all this other nonsense.
Yeah.
Like, girl, bye.
And editor Danielle, I didn't go back to watch, and I still need to, but a clip that came on my TikTok was about when NAOMI just will not give her the time of day.
I remember this.
And I feel like Venita tried to like grab her balls in the moment and like take some assertiveness over the conversation. And NAOMI was just like, actually, let's just call it. We're not friends. Like, I thought we were friends. We're not really friends. Like the friendship wasn't that deep. It's not going to go the distance. Let's just, move on. And NAOMI in that moment, she looked like she had made that decision and like was totally at peace with it. Like didn't have any, I don't know, but you don't get to that point with a person that you were friends with for a long time unless they really did something that was just like really shady. Right after that, another clip pops up because my phone's listening to me and listening to you too, editor Danielle. And another clip popped up where Madison is at a reunion. I'm just kind of out. On
Yeah,
her.
I'm out on Venita.
Yeah.
Which is a bummer because I really liked her. But
Yeah, and I feel like they maybe are like picked on her and JT to make like the drama. Like they could have just like made it worse for both of them this year. But I don't think that you don't do that for no good reason. You do it when you're like, these people aren't bringing anything. No one really likes them, or they've been weird. And like, I'm not saying that producers can't decide like we're gonna make some bullshit with you. I think that all I'm saying is that it's more likely that like they sort of dug their own graves.
that's what it feels like.
And like, so they're just basically they're the sacrificial.
I honestly,
shitheads.
JT's clearly not coming back next season, but I really hope Venita's not either because like I can't take the nonsense.
I wish her well.
What if JT doesn't come back, but Venita does? I think I'd be interested to see a Venita without JT in her life.
I don't know because I feel like Venita showed some parts of herself this year, and I don't know if it's just because she was desperate
to JT in that hotel room.
I just don't know if I'm like down for her currently. Like I just feel as though she might be a little bit of a fibber and trying to concoct storylines, or she's a desperado energy kind of, and I just none of that stuff. You got to just be a bit more assertive, and I feel like she's half-assing her assertiveness, where it's like she wants to be on the show, but then like get in the game, girl. And she's like on the sidelines doing things, but then concocting stories that don't add up. And all of it is just, I don't have time for that. I need the goods.
Venita is telling the full story about how she got played by JT and has some choice words to say about Craig Conover that make me believe she's Team Paige. Venita went on Viall earlier this week and I listened to it, so I'm gonna recap it for you. But only the juicy stuff. So the first question that Nick asks her is if her drowning was real or not. And she said, look, a lot of people do a lot of crazy shit for reality TV, but I am not one of those people. Yes, I was actually drowning.
Oh, Venita jumped in. God. Venita.
Is she drowning? Oh my God.
Wait, I got it.
Oh my God. You can't swim? Is it deep?
Holy shit, Craig just jumped in.
Oh my God.
Craig.
Then they asked Venita what she thinks about Sienna, and she said, I don't. She's then asked about the Paige and Craig breakup and how she thinks Craig is handling it.
What is your take on Craig and Paige breakup? Like, how is Craig doing? Do you think it's being handled well?
I don't even know how to answer that, to be honest. I think Craig is doing Craig.
What's that mean?
Yeah.
I don't know if that's a dig or support.
Like, Craig is not really opening up and speaking about it to us as a group.
Okay.
So we kind of get anything about the relationship from what we see online.
Do you think his heart is still broken, or do you think he's milking it?
Both.
From your perspective, how do you think he's milking it?
I just think that, like, she's not running around doing all these, like, PR moments about it. She's just trying to like let the situation die, and like he's still doing that. And it's just like, we understand like your heart's broken, but like it almost seems like you're dragging this out longer than it needs to be. Like just let it be like as clean of a breakup as it can be, you know?
Do you think he should let everyone know what Paige is or isn't doing?
Yeah, I think he should. Only because he is deeming her to be attacked by not. So like speak your truth and let it be known the same way you're speaking your truth about everything else.
What if he doesn't know?
Then stop answering like you do.
Ooh.
Damn. Austin had some things to say about a clip from this interview on the Queens of Bravo Instagram page, where he says, damn, you save a girl from drowning and this is how she repays you. And Leva responded and said, saving lives and adding to the PR roster, LOL, #no. I'm not gonna lie, I kind of don't understand this comment, but I feel like it's negative towards Venita.
This is what I'm saying.
She's not good. Like,
I think she's by the way, Craig's getting all this heat for being the biggest liar on Bravo. Venita's a bit of a liar.
I'm telling you, I never take NAOMI or Madison to come for anyone that didn't have it coming.
And I'm with NAOMI, where she's just like, I get it now. I see who you are.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm good. And from a very big picture point of view, that's how I feel about Venita. I really liked her. I was down for her. I think she's unbelievably beautiful, great style, brings all this cool stuff to the table that I normally want to tune in and watch. But there's too much nonsense in the mix with it. And now I'm like, I don't care. It's not worth it. The juice ain't worth the squeeze.
Yeah, you can go. Sachet, Shantae.
Unless you guys have anything to say about Sally's boob scene.
I do.
Oh, you do? Okay.
I don't know what the rules are with moms and daughters. I'm not a mom. I do not have a daughter. But I think that it's really inappropriate.
Minnie would be a none to please.
I have a little daughter, a furry daughter. I don't think it's appropriate that a girl who's, how old is Sally? What did she say? 20 something?
Yeah, what is she, like
30
30 or something?
Probably just say it.
To go out with her mom, who's a lot older than her, and her mom looks 1,000 times better than her. I don't think moms can look better than their daughters.
That is so not where I thought you were going with this.
Yeah.
Her mom got out of that car with her little white jeans and her cute little butt and her little top. And I was like,
meow.
Yeah,
Like,
meow.
come to
Fucking
Mikey.
hell yeah, dude. I was like, Mom, that's inappropriate. You can't be doing that. You got to look a little bit less hot than your daughter. Your single daughter, too?
I don't remember her
she-
like looking she was fine enough. But I
Rewind the part
certainly
where they
wasn't-
get and she gets out of the car and she jumps
I'm
out of the
going
passenger
to.
seat. I was like, holy, is that her sister? What the f*** is going on here?
I thought you were going to say it was it. I was very uncomfortable.
Sally's mom stay.
Yeah, you stay in South Carolina.
You don't want to get your leg humped.
Yeah, dude.
Scratch her off the potential guests of the pod list. No, I was very uncomfortable when the doctor, who was a dude,
Yes, a little
was
bit.
looking at her teats, and the mom's sitting there, and he's like, "They actually look great," and I'm like, "Oh my eyes!"
It was like he was doing like a double take. No pun intended.
Oh, this
But
whole
no,
thing.
He was seriously like, ooga.
He's like, "These. Why would you remove these? They look fantastic. You got this extra mileage on these. You could get, girl." And I'm like, I'm just. That whole scene grossed me out. It's probably why I didn't want to talk about it.
Oh yeah. Okay, I have two things just about Sally. Okay, first of all, I take back everything I said about that she shouldn't get them removed. I was thinking that she was going to have these massive scars, and it is because I have a friend who is a good kid, solid kid, and he was dating someone for a bit, and he said she had gotten a breast reduction. And he said that the scars were really distracting. So I was just trying to say, like, what's done is done. But when the doctor said, I'm just going to use the same scars that you already have, and it'll be like nothing, that's truly the only reason that I said just leave it in.
I had no idea.
I thought,
And literally my only note for this scene was, I'm so happy Sally's getting her implants out.
yeah, no, like, and the way that
she looks better. Like, this
not
fits
just
her
does
frame.
she look better in that thing she's wearing in the after shows, that open blazer. Like, there's two things like sitting up pretty, like either great jeans, and she was just able to go back to a natural boob that just stands right up at attention. Heyo.
Did I tell you about her mom?
Oh, God.
The other thing about Sally, she looks so good.
She looks great as a
with
brunette.
brown hair. I can't believe she ever dicked around with blonde hair. Like, it sets off her skin tone. Her eyes are popping.
Lips busting.
Busted. Yeah. Like, I have tried to go darker before. Like, she looks so good that it makes me want to do it. And I've already done it, and it was horrible.
It was not. She looked great.
But
I
no,
thought
it was
great.
not good. But
I
it
hated it.
But she looked
I loved
so
it.
good.
I
thought you were shaking your
please.
head that you didn't like it.
No. I've been begging. There's a picture at her mom's house.
Oh my God. This is, go
I love
on.
this picture, and she hates it.
I literally got it done, came home, and after this guy's telling me, I just wish that you were a brunette. I've always just been into brunettes. Like, I just think you would look great as brunette. I saw this photo of you when you were younger with brunette. Oh my God, just do it. So I do it, slowly but surely do it. I come home the first day after my first phase of it, and he literally said, I guess you're just one of those girls that's supposed to be platinum blonde. And I was like, information that would have been useful
yesterday.
Yeah. Before my 11 a.m. appointment.
That took 18 hours.
Yeah.
I'm actually home the next day. You didn't realize.
I was just trying to make you feel good.
About what I'd already done?
Mhm.
That makes no sense.
Doesn't
So
make
that's
any
a big fat lie. But anyhow, yeah.
No,
way
she
to
looks
go.
great.
She looks fucking great.
Love the brunette. Love the.
Just such a level up.
Dude, I've been saying it this whole season. Every time they cut to her confessional, the first 2 seconds of it, I'm like, who's that?
Yes.
Every time.
Yeah.
Like every single time. This last week, same time. Every time. I'm
By
like,
the way,
who? Oh, that's it. Right.
I said this when we were talking about the episode where they had that big conversation about plastic surgery, and
Yeah.
Molly's like, I took fat from my ankles and put them in my boobs.
Yeah.
And I said that I have this theory: when women get breast implants that are too big for their frame,
Yeah.
they put on weight to like their body's trying to balance everything out. It's kinesthetics, right?
Wait,
And-
did she lose weight?
I think so.
Oh, I
In
didn't
that
even notice
interview where she's got like the corset on, that white
Yeah.
corset, and she's brunette again, or brunette for the first time. She looks like she's lost weight. She looks like, or just like her body has reacclimated to
Yeah.
the frame that she
Yeah.
naturally had. And I just think everything looks better because she looks how God intended.
Not everybody looks better how God intended. Just
That's been
FYI.
true, but Sally looks great.
God, I'm just obsessed with her lately. She just stands on her own on so many things. And like, even just telling us all that she blew some guy in a parking structure, like to me just shows that she's got.
Kind of.
Oh yeah,
Not
kind of.
a little.
A little, thank you.
A little. Like there's something about that kind of like, I'm here to play. Like I'm here. This is a reality show, right? That's my reality. Like where everyone else, like the Taylors of the world, are like, oh, excuse me.
I didn't do it. I was
Yeah,
praying.
I didn't
Meanwhile, she
declare.
was hooking up with her
Yeah,
best friend's
exactly.
ex-boyfriend.
Yeah, I just appreciate her so much. I'm excited to see them like just follow more of her.
Yeah.
Lean into her.
I can get down with that.
Yeah.
I need them to put us out of our misery with the JT and Venita stuff. And I need them to put us out of our misery with seeing Paige and Craig in these scenes together. I feel like someone is plucking out each fingernail one by one, is tarring and feathering me and hooking me up to like the back of a Ford F-150. Like I'm in such pain watching these scenes because I just loved them together. And like the backyard scene where, by the way, fun fact about Craig, always has been a koozie guy. In like season 2, he's like, oh, we're going to this party. Take some koozies with you. He doesn't have any money and he's passing out koozies, which I personally respect a koozie.
He probably sewed them together.
By the way, we're getting koozies as merch because I live for a koozie.
Yeah, of course.
But at any rate, stay tuned for the drop. I just keep feeling so bad. Like, and even Austin said it in this scene where he's like, now that I'm spending time with them and I haven't for a minute, it feels not as perfect as Craig is painting it out to be. And so when you're in these moments of, oh my God, wait, I love this couple and I'm rooting for them, and all of a sudden I'm having dinner with them and it is so awkward, you want to leave because you're now uncomfortable and you're not even in the fight. And that's how I feel.
You know how you have friends that are together for whatever 2, 3, 4 years, whatever, and then they're like that couple of the friend group that you're like, oh fuck those guys, they're so perfect, they're so Craig and
happy,
Paige,
and they
whatever.
probably still have great sex.
Totally. And then they break up, and you're like, oh my God, I can't believe. And then like 6 months goes by, a year goes by, and then you start to realize like, oh, actually, you guys were horrible for each other. You weren't even close to being the perfect couple. And you both snowed both of us. You snowed all of us. You snowed each other. And now that we've had a second to look at it from, distance, I think Craig and Paige were quite possibly the worst couple ever, ever. Like two polar opposite people that should not. No,
Hi.
it's totally different.
Hi.
We're not polar opposites. Like we have similar goals. We like some things that are the same.
We both
Mike
like
wants
soup.
to live in and
We can
snow
talk or
peas
not talk.
for hours and still find things to talk and
These
not
two
talk about.
have nothing in common. Like nothing at
Mike
all.
wants
No
to live
values,
on a ranch in
no-
Montana, and Natalie's literally like, I will leave LA over my dead body.
Yeah, like it's not that I'm so obsessed with LA, but I'm not. Here's Here's something. Here's a little something. I find that people that have lived in Los Angeles and in Manhattan, they don't know how to live other places. And I think that Manhattan's even worse. Like they look at LA as like the softest
Like
place.
a suburb.
Yeah, like a suburb. Yeah. So there is something about like yes, sometimes they move. During COVID we saw it, you know, but like it requires a pandemic, a global pandemic for these people to go, I guess I could try another spot. But like that's what it takes. And so I think that like even I'm originally from Oklahoma. For my entire life I've been going back every year, and I'm always just looking at it like, oh, okay. Like, and I know Charleston's, I'm not saying it's identical to Oklahoma, but like there's just places that they're slow rolling it. And when you're used to just like a high energy place, even if it's exhausting, you're so used to that exhaustion. And so like it becomes like your vibration, like you're on this vibration and it all feels very normal. And anything else like might be fun for like a kitschy weekend, but like that's it. So it was always going to be real hard to get her to leave that for like, I feel like when I see people that are like on vacation in Charleston that are just like putting their stuff up on TikTok or Instagram, it looks like it's like one block of like poppin' stuff, you know?
I think you're right.
And if you were to go to all those 7 restaurants and those 7 bars,
I think for some people, like, that's so sweet and they love that because they've got their bar, they know the bartender, they have their shops and all of that. It's very small town for a city. They even say it in the show multiple times throughout the seasons. But for someone who actually lives in a big city like New York City, it's got to feel, if that's not your vibe, it's got to feel suffocating.
I am stating it to give people an understanding of how big city people can sometimes view like smaller towns, and why a small town person would never even know that feeling existed because they haven't lived in a bigger city to know that like it's that
you could get swallowed and no one cares about you and the grind of it. I understand what you're saying actually, because
I know that I'm saying this all wrong and sounding so pretentious and disgusting. I'm just saying that there's just a difference, and people that have never lived in a big city might not understand like why somebody could just never truly be fulfilled, and they would always just kind of feel like, I'm kind of phoning it in now.
I don't even know if it's necessarily fulfilled as it is as much what you were just saying, where it's like all of a sudden your vibe changes, your pace. You are now in sync with the pace of New York City or Charleston or whatever, wherever it is that you live. Yeah. And I think that can feel just discordant to you if you're used to that vibe.
I'm probably not going to keep any of this in because I know how awful all of this sounds.
Coastal elites.
Yeah. But like, it's just like, when Paige says to Craig, all I do is eat and sit when I'm here. And he goes, isn't it great? Isn't it nice? And she's like,
she couldn't even fake an answer.
Like her look on her face was like,
she wants to go to her Pilates class, then meet someone for a matcha, then come back and do like an Amazon Live. Then she's going to go with friends to like cocktails somewhere. And then she's got an event at night. Like she said in the episode that we just covered of Summer House, she said, I never want to live a slow life.
Yeah.
And to me, I'm looking at that as that is so beautiful. Just sitting in this gorgeous backyard. I'm going to go visit my bees. He's going to be cooking me up a veggie burger. Yeah. Have a trop hop. Yeah. Like, it seems lovely to me, but like I'm on a different vibe than Paige is.
What, Mike? What?
You got a real bee in your bonnet.
I mean, I said that I'm now realizing that Craig and Paige were never perfect for each other, and you guys went on fucking 10 minutes of how that she could never live in Charleston. So yes, they're not perfect for each other. They were never perfect for each other.
One of you were talking about the interviews. Like Austin was like, I'm looking at this now. I'm like, no, they like never really were.
No, he said they never were. Like in hindsight, you're looking at that perfect couple, thinking like, wait, you never really were that perfect.
Yeah.
Courtney made the mention.
Okay. Either way. What I just wanted to show you was that I feel like Austin's trying to come out and say like, or the show's trying to give us the vibe that Austin might have seen this the whole time. interviews back to back, pocket square, short hair, literally 3-second turnaround later because it's bopping back and forth.
Yep.
And they're talking about Paige. No pocket square.
Different hair.
Different hair. They
Interesting.
went back and they're trying to be like, they're planting the seed.
They're hindsighting it with him.
And acting like, oh, we track this story. You guys just make it up when you didn't get it. You tell them to throw on that pink jacket. I don't have the pocket square. No one will notice. I noticed. At least trim his hair.
Get the Polaroid out of what he looked like the day he shot.
Dude, what did I used to do?
Match it up.
When we would shoot the Hey Jersey stuff, I would send you the night before and be like, you wore this ring, you wore these earrings. And I wouldn't just name them. I would send photos of all of it. So it was that easy to be like, nope, not that ring, this ring.
Because that's what wardrobe does.
What you do. Yes. And I was working on a no budget. Like it's 3 a.m, got to do that before tomorrow.
I will say I'm very happy that we're going to get some itch scratch next episode.
Yeah.
With the Craig and Paige stuff, because they say, like, he's talking to the guys saying, she said to buy a ring, all this stuff. So JT's gone.
Yeah.
We'll get some of that juice squeeze so that we can maybe he'll open up a little bit more about it.
Yeah.
Maybe.
That conversation is a camera pickup.
But still, it's going to be in next episode.
Right.
In the next
episode.
The last 2 minutes of the episode, and they're going to be like, to be continued.
It's
next season.
Yeah, it's going to be the same
next
thing.
season on Southern Charm.
It's going to be the same thing as Paige shooting her camera pickup at Lindsay's with the
breastfeeding.
Yeah.
Well, at least we get a Molly and Shep kiss. That doesn't seem like.
When Taylor's talking about like she's pushing them together, I think it's the after show or in something else she's talking about, I just want to give him a shiny new thing so he can stop looking at me. And she literally calls Molly a shiny new thing at least 3 times in like a 2-minute, if even that. It's probably less than that. She just keeps saying it over and over again. It's like she's just dying to just throw Shep a bone so you'd stop humping my leg already. You know, like, come on. No one is buying that. Even Sally says in there, I don't think Taylor is very honest ever about how she feels about things. Sally straight up goes, if you told me you want to date my boyfriend, I'll cut you. Or my ex-boyfriend, I'll fight you. Like, even if she doesn't care about him, she's like, no.
Sally.
Yeah, she just like doesn't
That's what I know.
shit.
Sally with the E.
Yeah. Like, listen, I think that Shep and Molly are actually oddly suited for each other. I just think, of course, Taylor is pushing Molly on him because I don't believe that Taylor actually thinks that Molly would ever be like Shep's like end all be all. Like, he would never be someone that he was like bout about it and ready to shout about. Not to any fault of Molly's. Shep is just a guy that probably wouldn't get the king of the world feeling from someone that was in his like close in age to him and wasn't a 25-year-old bopping around Charleston. Like, I just don't think that, and I think that Taylor knows that about Shep. So I just think this whole thing where she keeps trying to say like, I think Molly should date Shep, I think it's insulting, and you shut up. Shut up. Taylor.
I have a comment about the ice cream parlor for the puppy cups. I could literally wolf down a raw cheeseburger and french fries that were frozen, and 20 minutes later, my stomach would explode in my face, and I would not put 2 and 2 together. And that's a me thing. I understand that. Like, that's always been me. I'll be like, my stomach hurts. And they'll be like, well, you did just eat a pile of shit 20 minutes ago. I'll be like, I don't think that's it. So, like, I acknowledge that. That being said, there's no way that I'm knowing if my dog has a sensitive stomach. When they're like, oh, ice cream or what?
Yes, because they eat something, and then when you take them to the bathroom, if they swish shard all over the place, you realize like, oh, that was what they ate. Because you're picking up their poo.
Sure, but like, how many dogs are woofing ice cream and what is the other one? Whipped cream or whatever, and not swish sharding all over the fucking place.
My dog, growing up, he used to be able to eat anything except tomato sauce, and my dad would pour it all over his kibble. And my mom's like, Bob, you know it gives him the runs.
Why would your dad pour tomato sauce
How
all
do you
over
know
his
it wasn't
kibble?
the kibble?
He thinks because that was the kibble he ate all the time. My dad thinks everything tastes better with tomato sauce, even Yukonuba. And everyone should be having tomato sauce on everything. He's like, this is mother's milk. It's good for him.
That is hilarious.
So I'm just saying.
When Austin's sister walked into Austin's house, I thought that she was the girlfriend. She wasn't.
She looks exactly like his mom, but just with blonde hair.
She looks exactly like Austin, but just has long blonde hair. Like that family just looks very much like each other. But I just think it's funny that the girlfriend just still like we got one shot of her in the beginning. But I think that Austin does really well in like this like commuter relationship, like not too far enough away to be like where you can't see her every weekend if you wanted to, but like not close enough to where she's gonna just pop by unannounced one day.
Totally.
I think
catch him in a threesome like Madison did.
Exactly. He learned his lesson there, I think. But I think that this is like a nice situation for him. It's like relationship. It's like pre-K relationship or like relationship light where you get to
just training wheels.
It's your training wheels. You get to like try out the like free version until you decide if you want to like actually subscribe and like do that year minimum subscription contract. You know, I think this is working out really well for him.
It's like his mom and dad bought him a relationship for the holidays, and like once a month she'll show up. And if you want to continue it, you can. Here's a 20% off coupon.
Yeah.
This is one of the funniest comments we've ever had. Truth for Peace for Freedom. Somewhere in the Atlantic Ocean, there's a megalodon's girlfriend wearing a human tooth necklace, looking pretty cool. And I second that.
Good.
That was adorable.
So funny.
Yeah.
Could you imagine? Like, I know it's probably not true, but it would be funny. His little tooth on a megalodon.
How do we know? I feel like there's a whole world under there that like there's like a bajillion species we don't even know exist.
Okay.
Nat, this one's for you. It's from Judy Murray. I miss Olivia too, and I'm so happy she's now engaged. I will never forgive Taylor for lying to Olivia. Not a friend I would want.
She really doesn't deserve it.
Loved and, you know. Then,
and both their brothers died, and that happened after the fact.
Yes.
But like, if they had a shot to get back together as friends, that would have been the moment. And they didn't.
They couldn't.
So
Taylor could have. Olivia couldn't.
Oh yeah, no. Taylor never like. And another thing that Chrissy Sheik said, and this isn't, she just wrote
Excuse me, Mrs. Sheiks. Got you. Show some respect.
Another thing that Mrs. Sheiks said about the Taylor and Austin hookup, which again, you heard it here last because I'd heard this a couple weeks ago and then I just forgot to talk about it. So imagine if I heard it 2 weeks ago, it was probably around 2 months ago. But that they actually, Taylor and Austin actually tried to have sex, but Austin was too wasted and couldn't.
They call that the old whiskey dick. I don't know from experience. I never drank that much, but
got off on a technicality, pun intended. The irony of that.
But she goes on to say,
wow,
like that,
Bethany, wow.
It's, if not for that, they probably would have been.
100%.
Like, clearly, they were on their way to Bone Town, and the car broke down.
Yeah.
So if it
find
hadn't,
Chrissy's just read her. I know it's from this. It's not from last week's. I know it's from Summer House, but just read it.
I like Jesse too. Okay, I've already forgiven Wes too, Mike. Yeah, we're on the same page. And then, did they date for more than 2 months? I don't know. I want to enjoy him and Jesse. Those two crack me up and add a layer of fun to the show. Oh, yes, exactly. Regarding Craig, he said that he bought Paige a ring during Thanksgiving.
Christy, got it.
Same.
During Thanksgiving, when he was with her family, she told him what to buy and buy it, so he did. And he was planning on giving it to her during Christmas. Womp, womp. So in his mind, they had not mutually broken up. Anyway, someone brought up Taylor's redemption. I heard that she confessed that the only reason her and Austin did not go all the way is because he had a drunk mishap and one was unable to, shall we say, get it up. We shall.
I love it when she says, shall we say, like, park the car in the garage. Like, but she didn't. She just went straight for it. Get it up.
Shall we say he didn't get a boner? We shall.
Wow.
Yeah, pretty funny.
Wow.
Pretty funny.
Kathy Mallory does not care if JT called her a bitch or not. I do. The only reason I care is because I think that word in the way that he used it, if he did say it, like that's a... you cross the line.
No, that and I know because even like I don't know if it was Nettie or Joanne Greco that said like I wouldn't even care if somebody called me a bitch. So that's just totally like
It was Nettie.
They said I would hate it if they said I never did anything or like or something like
that was
she had
Nettie.
an alternative that like made it where that would be the insulting thing to her. I think it's just coming from a dude. I don't want to hear it.
Same.
Yeah, I don't want to hear it.
Same. It's a little too sharp coming from a guy.
Yeah.
Like if he's watching a chick on TV and he's like, she's a bitch. I'm like,
You're a bitch.
Excuse you.
I go straight to like.
It's a lot of.
Wait, here's a good one. Paris Elise, I'm not sure, but I thought for a moment that it was Parisa from The Bachelor. And I thought it would be so great because it's, oh my God, my right one is better too. So cute. As if it could get better, she said, love you guys. So shocking that you're not at 1 billion subs. I know.
We're
I can't
shocked
believe
too.
it. Actually, I'm not shocked. I didn't know if we'd ever get 5 people that wanted to hear what we had to say. So I'm
there's
pleasantly surprised at where we're at now.
There's this great scene in 30 Rock where and I was watching it. I was like home for the holidays one year. And I said to my mom, I was like, I promise you'll like the show. Just go with me. And so we're watching it. And Tina Fey is with her ex-boyfriend, I think Dennis, who's just like the nightmare guy that she can't shake. And something happens where she's retelling the story. She goes, and then my boob fell out into my soup, but at least it was the bigger one. And my mom started cracking up. And this was before I guess I had done my own research where I'm like, oh my God, all women have one bigger boob. That's why my mom's laughing.
My boobs are so big that I don't even know if there's one that's bigger.
Oh, it's almost impossible to have symmetrical boobs if they're real.
These things are fire, let me tell you.
That's staying in the edit.
Shit. I just want to read this one because he agrees with me. I think it's a he, Joe Hines. Shep absolutely reads as that guy that has charmed the pants off women his whole life. He quotes Shakespeare here. He twirls them around on the dance floor there. He smooth talks endlessly and wakes up whenever he wants because he's never had any responsibilities. He just keeps doubling down on all this stuff with Sienna. How could she resist? Flying to her country, the necklace, his wordy, charming texts, his gregarious attempts at banter. He couldn't believe it wasn't working. If only I'd tried something else in my bag of tricks. That's what I think we're all seeing here. And I agree, Joe.
I agree too.
I agree.
You know what I realized about Shep now that I'm rewatching all of these things? He has one of my least favorite characteristics in a person. He's really cheap.
Oh, yeah.
I
forgot
now
about
that I'm rewatching all of this, it's like, oh, okay, I'm going to invest in a bar, but it's going to be like a hole in the wall bar, which by the way, I grew up in Jersey. I live for hole in the wall bars.
But he's not doing it because that's his favorite bar and he grew up there and he can't see it demolished. And
correct.
No, it's that like, oh, this is $5.
Right. Like he bought in an area of town that's not that expensive and he's trying to just sit like, I get it. If you want to be fiscally conservative, then just say it. Just own that. And then I'd be into it. But him giving us this false version of himself where he's this man of the world and traveling all over the place. It's like, yeah, but like you're trying to like ball on a budget, which is fine, but then do it the way Candy Burris says. Like I am balling on a budget and that's why I have millions of dollars and I do buy nice things and do nice trips, but like I find the coolest way to do it. That's why she's the best and why he's a loser to me right now.
I forgot that he calls his dad. And when his dad asks him how's it going, how was his trip in the Bahamas, he says, I felt like a lame duck president. Only Shep would describe himself as basically like the leader of the free world who just like
is in the last 2 weeks of his presidency.
Power. Well, he has power, but like because of some silly circumstance that goddamn constitutional term limits, like isn't getting like the respect. Like if it was my first 4 years in office, I would have bagged this chick in a heartbeat, you know. But like I just think it just shows that he really did go in there thinking like, I will get exactly what I want out of all of this.
Yes.
Because I am El Presidente and I'm going to the Bahamas. They haven't seen a guy like this before. And then it was like, no, you're not going to get any of that.
Nope.
In fact, she's going to go out of her way to humiliate you. Not even just be like, no, oh yeah, we'll talk about it later.
And
She's
keep
like,
the necklace.
No. And we weren't in a relationship and I nope, didn't love you and wouldn't say that and like did not give him an inch. And he kept on trying. But I'm the president. I'm the president.
Does that mean anything to you?
No. I just want to tell Palava Girl that like this is like the moment that I knew like, okay, we're on the right track. She said, "You three are my new dinner making pals." Like all
What's for
I
dinner?
do is I have earbuds in all the time. I can't be left to my own thoughts. So I have earbuds in all day. And I just think like, what kind of podcast would I want to listen to? What is it that like I can, you know how I said earlier that I'll leave my phone in another room and just be like, well, it better be good because I've just got my earbuds in and I won't even remember where I left the phone. And so the fact that people are watching this while they're just living their lives, like, don't get me wrong. I love it if anybody like is like one day rushes home to like turn us on because we're on every Thursday at this time or whatever. Like, yes, that would be fantastic. But my life is so dependent on people talking about things that like I can relate to, I can learn something from, I can be entertained by, I can be laughing at while I'm just knee deep in dishes and laundry. Like that's like that is my number one priority. So to know that like someone's listening to us while they're just living their life is so lovely.
It's the best ever of all time.
I'm telling you, because life is a slog. It is.
Not anymore. These guys make it fun for me.
Yeah, I was just gonna say things are looking up. And I'm not joking at all when I say this. I love watching these shows because I learn something.
Yeah.
I am picking apart, dissecting other people's lives, relating to it, seeing where I can do better, seeing where maybe I did do better. And I actually get something to chew on from watching other people's relationships or business successes or whatever. And that's why I love these shows.
Yeah. And I revel in people's downfalls. I gotta tell you. I'm half kidding.
By the way, this woman, Joanne Case, had said, Venita commented that not everything is shown and there's a lot more than occurred, rather than her being edited like a homewrecker. I get that editing is going for what they want. And yep, that is why it can get messy. People tune into messy. I was so on that path when we had recorded that episode, breaking all of it down. But I really do wonder now that we've really seen everything, can editing get that messy? Because they can only give what you use they can only use what you give them. And she's kind of showed her ass here.
Yeah, out of context is one thing, but like sometimes a straddle is a straddle is a straddle.
Sometimes it just is what it is.
Yeah, it's so bad that it gets me to start thinking that like they must have done you dirty, because like who would be so dumb to bring all of this up and make this a whole thing, knowing that it's going to only anybody that just puts two and two together realizes that they were the exact same thing happening. Yes. It doesn't really matter which order they were in. Both times he told you that he had a girlfriend, and then for this last episode to show you calling him again and telling him to be your plus one to an event, like
I feel like she just walked into a store and was like, oh, hi, I just was wondering, could I return this dress? And they were like, oh yeah, absolutely. And she goes and returns it, and they charge back the credit card. They do all the things. And she's like, oh, I'm just going to look around. And then she comes back with the same dress. Yeah. And she's like, I'm going to buy this and check out. And it's like, I'm sorry, I'm a little confused as to then why we did the return.
Yeah.
Like she's got us chasing our tails.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't know what, either they're doing you dirty and or you're doing yourself dirty. Either way, you've brought nothing to the show. I'm looking back. I'm trying to find like what was a great moment from you. I got nothing. So I think you all should move on, part ways amicably.
And I also want to say this. I am truly an aficionado when it comes to these shows, just in the fact that like hey B.
Hi B. Hey B. Yeah, I can be a quick get her out of here person, but when you are there too, I know that I'm on the right path because you've really thought this through.
And I've just watched all of these shows. That's why I say aficionado. Like because I've logged so many hours watching and rewatching.
Yeah.
And I will say all the greats will always tell you, I will never blame editing. I gave them what I gave them. Yeah. And that is, maybe it was out of order or whatever, but like those were my words. That's what I said. That's what I did.
Yeah. Nezuko says, all the JT hate, LOL. Wow, it's not like JT slept with his good friends and his ex and hid it. I mean, He's done what he's done. But yeah, he did not do those things. When we talk about West getting away with things so quickly and Taylor not,
so funny.
There's just like some people are just like, well, it's usually dudes get away with stuff. And JT is a little man. He's like half a dude. So he wasn't full dude. I also found this photo of JT, this screenshot when we were doing the very first episode. And I was I screenshot off of Bravo TV so I can get the shot for the thumbnails. If you don't get it right away, they move and it's blurry and whatever. Well, this time he had his head down. I think JT has a hairpiece.
Wouldn't put it past him.
I'll find it and I'll send it to you and you can tell me what you think. But it looks like he's got a hairpiece right here.
Let's just leave JT alone. He tried his hand at reality TV and it didn't work.
It's
fine.
Yeah, not a good hand.
Courtney is a great intermediary between Mike and Natalie.
Thank you. Who said that?
It was Carlite.
Carlite, my girl.
And I think that she deserves hazard pay.
Oh my God, we're going to work that into the contract.
Yeah, because she didn't sign up for this. She didn't know what she was walking into.
I joke about this, but I'm actually not joking at all. I am so wildly uncomfortable with confrontation that it's been a lot for me.
No, I know.
That's why I brought my therapy cat.
Oh, Truth for Peace for Freedom says, and he's talking about Loverboy. I'm into Summer House comments now because I'm sorry.
You maybe.
He goes, you guys remember many years back how Caroline Manzo's sons and brother from Real Housewives of New Jersey went into the business selling black water? Yes, black water. Now, who in the hell wants to drink black water? Might as well call it swamp-ass water. I guess it was infused with vitamins. Obviously, the public wasn't buying it, and those guys went into massive debt and bankruptcy due to the terrible idea. You have to contact Captain Obvious before starting a business because, as we can see, friends and family are perfect little yes men and just want to tell you what you want to hear. I forgot about that.
Oh, I didn't. And they thought it actually was going to play even more because it's kids from Jersey selling black water because, Jersey gets such a bad rap from being like swamps and sewers and dirty.
Yeah.
Like they thought they could make a joke out of it.
Yeah.
They couldn't.
Sarah McBride says, Kyle, I'm diagnosing you with raging ADHD. He is so emotional, so sensitive and reactionary, and cannot contain himself to save his life. He is so black and white, right and wrong. There is no in between. And his ruminating thoughts and self-doubt, and I could go on and on and on. Kyle, please work on yourself. I know you've got to be tired, bro. Which is like, I love that she got it out, everything she wanted to say, but it got so real in that last sentence, you must be exhausted. Because I'm sure he is exhausted.
I think he's exhausted.
His brain's just running like crazy all day with all the worries and all the just acting on impulse of how to fix it. And it's not well thought out. And it's just I bet he's up all night just staring at the ceiling with his butt cheeks on the sheets.
Did you read Johnny Smiles? Kyle started to fall apart on Winter House a few years ago. Did you?
Yeah.
Because it was basically Summer House Part 2. He's miserable. He's also kind of got the Jax thing going. Number one guy in the group.
Yes.
He will forever have a special place in my heart for calling Stassi Steve Jobs, which was hilarious. By the way, one of the best moments on with internet, with reality TV was when someone goes after Sandoval, that all of that stuff came out, and someone goes, "Who's the number one guy in the group now?" And Jax goes, "Ariana." That was actually amazing.
Well, what is actually a huge waste, but was amazing in the moment, but now it doesn't matter because he's obviously dead and buried to most people, was BravoCon this year when James Kennedy won whatever award it was. In his acceptance speech, he was like, "Well, I guess we all now know who the number one guy in the group is." Which was a great moment. And then you just threw it all away, you dumb dick. Peach says, love you all. So funny and informational.
Love that.
I'll take it.
I hope Sarah McBride sees our Southern Charm episode. Maybe I'll message her so she knows, because she just writes in all caps, "Cats, I'm staying here forever. Minnie's meow is so tiny and cute."
I know. She has been so fun.
This is an interesting take on Hannah. Jamie Yay says, I just think Hannah is the worst, and I don't think she ever even considered the position she was putting her so-called best friend Paige in by fighting with Amanda and Kyle a few years ago. She's not a true friend. Paige is. Amanda got the raw end of that deal. I gotta think about that one, though. That raises some good points.
Like, I don't know if Hannah's still this way. It's been a million years since I've like
For
watched
sure.
her on the regular. Now
Same.
she's like older and married and has like a you know, I'm sure like a evolved state as most people do, I
Yeah.
assume. But at that time, yeah, she was just letting things fly, like not thinking twice. Like you could see the way she would say things that she didn't take a half a second to think like, what is this going to mean for everyone if I say this right now?
Yeah, and in her last season, which was just, it was such a bad season.
And they did her so dirty too, because there are times that you can tell that she was doing things to be like a team player to like make the show more dramatic, and they would air the entire thing. It's like how sometimes you'll go, I'm going to take that from the top, and I don't include the part before that that you messed up. I just
you're a
go
good
from
friend.
the top. The edit included her going, no, you can talk about my dad. It's fine. She literally goes, actually, how dare you bring my dad into it? And they included it in the episode. Like, you remember that time when she said that to Kyle, and Kyle was just sitting there like, what?
Yes, when she freaked out over
Don't
how
bring my dad into it.
Well, also in that season finale that year, she was nonsensical in a lot of her responses to standing up for herself as to like her fights with Kyle and with Luke. And her girls were riding for her so hard, and they were trying to help her dig herself out of this hole that she was putting herself in.
Yeah.
And it was just kind of, it was lovely to see like a friend riding so hard for their other friend, but it also does make me think about this person's comment where it's like, yeah, but she was a little gnarly in those moments. She could not for one second sit back and say, I was wrong here and I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Like in one spot, just be like, I'm sorry.
Yeah. Except it was to Kyle and Luke. And I don't fucking care. That's where things get, where you see a little about yourself. Like how, like, I don't care that they're doing JT dirty because I don't like him and I'm ready for him to go.
I need him to go.
Venita is the same. I'm to that point with her. I hadn't been for a long time, and now I am to that point with her. I don't care what the truth is.
Same.
You somehow keep finding yourself in these positions. The fact that Hannah was that way with Kyle, I've watched you deserve that kind of treatment 50 times since she left, so I don't care. Luke, same, because he was just such a psychological fuck, you know? Like, just what a
That's
mind.
like... F-boys drive me insane for the Luke is such a textbook F-boy. And it's like, because he is so good looking, has a great bod. Like there's just so, and he like there's interesting things about him, right? So it's just like he has all of these things that would make someone interested in him. Yeah. And he cannot for the life of him just own up to the fact, because he talks to his sister all the time. He's like, no, I'm an enlightened guy. Or she knew we were just screwing around. No, she didn't. No, she didn't. Let me tell something to all the straight men out there. If you are inviting a girl on trips to go see your family back in Montana or wherever the hell he's from, she thinks you're into her. So you can't just be like, well, no, she knows it's casual. Nothing about that is casual. You are going on an hours-long plane trip to meet the people whose loins you came from. Yeah. None of this is casual.
Yeah, and to meet all the people that made them who they are and see their environment. And
go to your elementary school. Yeah. This is where I played ice hockey with my mates every winter, or whatever the hell his weird jargon is. Like, he drives me crazy, because just own it and you're free. This is why Imrul doesn't bother me for his sexual escapades. He bothers me because it's one note and it's boring and I don't care. Yeah. But at least he's saying it. He's like, no, I'm sleeping with a different girl every day that ends in Y, sometimes multiple. I got my sex swing, my sex rocking chair, my sex treadmill. Like, great. So you've owned it. But with Luke, with guys like Luke, they're trying to also be like, no, but I'm a good guy and I'm honest. And they know, you're not. Yeah. No, You ain't.
I had a realization about Emerald, like, well, this is like stupid and light and whatever, but like, I realized that like it's not just that he's not giving us anything else except for just like leading with sex about everything. Like everything is like all about like just how he likes to have massive sex all over the place. It's that you like, I think I'm probably uncomfortable with the way that he's doing it because I've seen 2 literal faceless women come in the house. We don't see them. We don't learn their names. We know that they're around the corner because we hear Kyle introducing himself. But the thing that I get uncomfortable with is people not feeling like
valued,
their own value or their own power in that having that kind of sex.
Yeah.
I don't know if those women came in knowing that he's a guy that has sex with all of New York. Maybe they do, and it's all great, but I don't even get to meet them. Like they are literally just someone that we saw a dress bunched up on the floor. Like it's just degrading to me. And I'm not saying that like he's degrading them on purpose, but the way the show is showcasing him, whether it's his doing or whether it's him saying don't show their faces, whether maybe it's them saying I don't want to be on the show, but I still want to come home with you. Maybe so. But if there's more than this and faceless women coming in, like that is cringe to me. It just is a bad look.
It's not my vibe either.
Yeah, it's not my thing. And I'm closed off to you at a certain point because like you're just a weirdo bringing in faceless women.
I feel like it's probably the scenario that you hit on it when you were like running through all of them, where he's out at a bar, probably saying like, hey, you want to come back and go to Pound Town? I'm on this show. Obviously you see the cameras, but like I can cover the camera. Don't sign up. Like no, production's not up. So you're not going to sign a waiver. We'll just do it. They can't show anything. We'll have fun and you'll go home. And I think that like, I'm hoping
that's a conversation that was had. Yeah.
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 But either way, I'm not into it. Not because every girl needs to be some main character on the show, but it just
they
feels
need it.
so...
They have a face. They have a name. Like they are people.
It's like a little serial killer to me.
Yeah, it's weird. Yeah,
it's a little weird to me.
These girls are just trying to come home and get some dick without being there, having their names and faces blasted on TV. It's fine.
Okay, well then don't come on this show, bro. Like
the girl, they didn't.
The dude.
No, I think they cast Emerald to tap into the Diddy party stuff. I'm serious. Like I think people are so interested in sex parties and baby oil and Epstein and Diddy and Jay-Z and who's doing what in Hollywood that like maybe somebody was like, maybe even Kyle was like, I got a dude that goes to these kind of parties. Should we get him this year?
Do you think he's going to like? I don't think he's going to parties and where people are being drugged.
If that's what the show is like wanting to.
What I'm saying is that amongst the zeitgeist of America right now in the world is this thing of these weird sex parties. And I'm just throwing out a crazy hypothesis that maybe somebody was like, let's get a sex party guy on and see if it's intriguing.
Yeah.
It wasn't. It's not.
That makes me feel for Emerald then, because I don't imagine that he agreed to come on here to be the face of the Diddy era sex parties and be like that. Like he, I bet if that's what the show wants to do, they're doing him dirty, because I don't imagine a guy would sign on to that to be like the face of like, to bring that perspective, the sex party perspective in affiliation with.
Listen, I like the Diddy thing. Like Diddy gave sex. I'm not a sex party guy, but like Diddy.
Did you know that?
I mean, I like the sex party with you, but like, I'm not a bunch of people sex party guy. So like, but I'm not like. Sex parties are fun. Like sex parties are a thing. People like sex parties. Not every sex party is a party either. Like. So like maybe Diddy gave sex parties a bad name and Bill Cosby and like Epstein and all these dudes. So like there can be adult consenting sex parties, and Rule, I'm assuming, is partaking in those parties.
I think that they brought, I see what you're saying. I feel like they probably brought him on because they knew that the existing cast was very, not insular, but like they were each other.
Yeah.
And I think they thought, oh, here's a guy who's going to bring in other people.
Yeah.
And he's going to be, adding that kind of spice to these storylines. And let's see if that upsets the other cast members. Let's see if that, they're annoyed. Oh, you're bringing all these randos home and Lindsay's pregnant. Like, I'm just thinking maybe they were thinking he was going to come at it from another angle.
Yeah, like Carl's just going to meetings. He's been celibate for a year. And then Lindsay is out of commish. So we got to bring somebody in here that's going to bang everyone. You know, I've heard since like with the Bailey thing of like why she got kicked out was that obviously we heard the story about how she was like talking shit about the cast and whatever. I've since seen interviews with the cast, and the cast is like, I really liked Bailey. Like they talk about her that way. I think Sierra was one of them that said really liked her. Gabby, I think, really liked her. But the latest story I've heard is that she wasn't honest, that she's in a full-on relationship, and she tried to say she wasn't in one. And so it would just make the Crappens guys actually be onto something with the, like, I guess she, like, you want me to fuck all these people? I'm not doing that. You know, like, but I think that they were just making a joke in that video.
Yeah.
But like, if they are out looking for things to fill the voids of like Carl, like the older, the married, on the wagon, and for the pregnant lady, they need some people that are going to come in and get into like relationship-y kind of storylines. And
But you can't
hookups.
fire someone because they're in a relationship. So I wonder how they got around all that.
Maybe just that she misrepresented herself.
Maybe.
Like, because I don't know, like you can fire someone. I don't think she like give us all the money back. But if they are right about her getting scrubbed from the rest, where they just sort of were like,
so she wasn't
taking her
fired,
out,
maybe just scrubbed.
Yeah, just like we're not leaning in on this girl. She wasn't honest or whatever. And again, I have no idea. This is all TikTok stuff. One even more thing on TikTok that I saw that's unrelated to this show. I heard that Mary Cosby on Salt Lake Housewives, that her brother-in-law is Bill Cosby. That seems pretty wild and out there. But the person that was saying it sounded like they didn't seem like they were joking. But I literally saw that this morning, so I haven't looked at it. But wouldn't that be crazy?
Wait, you were saying something about, I want to say this. This is just my writ large note for reality TV. It's one thing if it's a housewife show, okay?
Yeah.
Because Housewives or like Basketball Wives or any of those shows, you're picking women to be on this show that maybe do have some social media presence, are, you know, famous in their own right because they're an actor, a writer, own a clothing company, whatever.
Yeah.
I'm fine with someone having a large social media following and joining one of these shows if they're in that housewife area.
Yeah.
I don't like it on Southern Charm, on Summer House. Like, I don't want and I love influencers, don't get me wrong. I just don't like the influencer casting on Summer House.
Ban it.
That's what I think.
Like, nobody needs this. We're already skeptical enough.
That's right.
Now with the after shows and with Watch What Happens Live and with everyone just having their own TikToks and whatever, like we're already seeing so much stuff that like you didn't include in the edit. So our minds are already going wild enough with like what's really going on here.
Yeah.
And we're questioning. For you to bring on a person that's like, I have never understood why they made the term influencer. Nobody wants to be influenced. I don't feel good about watching someone who is named an influencer. That sounds like I'm just this idiot that's going to be like, tell me what to buy. I'll buy anything that you tell me because you're cute and saying in a quirky way and fun. You've got a nice house and whatever. Like, no, but I can't imagine like anybody did any testing on this. Like, does anybody want to be influenced?
It doesn't bother me.
Everyone in the entire planet. You just don't like being told that that's what's happening.
Right.
But it's
clear as
happened
day.
your whole life.
Let's call it something. Don't like we're in on the joke. We don't got to talk about it. Like, we know what's happening. We don't need to talk about it. I just think it's weird. And when somebody tells me that they are one, I immediately think, well, who are you to influence anyone? Which is like, they're just doing their jobs, you know? But like, I think it's bad for everyone. I think it's bad for business,
You can rebrand it.
Yeah, just like, it just should be called something else because our parents told us our whole lives, she's a bad influence. You're being influenced by blah, blah, blah. Like my conservative mom would always tell me that I was being influenced by Hollywood elites, you know? And I was just like, that
really backfired.
Brain. Yeah, I've got my own brain. Like, thanks. Like, it's just a dumbing down of something to me. Like, that's an insult to me to tell me that I'm being influenced by anyone. So I just think it was a real misstep to name a job influencer. Just selling you.
I'll tell you who's not a fan of Kyle. I get the sense is Joanne Greco. Kyle talks crap about people who work for him while he's mad, like he did with Carl, and that was gross. So I understood why Craig didn't want anything to do with Kyle's business, and I don't feel comfortable telling him. And didn't feel comfortable telling him. Craig doesn't owe Kyle anything when it comes to his business. That last line got me. I was like, yeah, you nailed that one. And it's not something I don't know. I say in a weird way, I don't think about that kind of stuff. Like, oh, you're buddies. You guys owe each other things. You got to do, but no, you don't.
Not at this level. Not 10 seasons in. Like
Yeah.
they've got their lives to build.
Yeah,
and all their financial decisions actually mean something now that they're like in the age bracket that they're in. Like, come on, dude.
Okay, wait. Two things. Number one, Joanne, that was such a good comment because I also forgot that he does it to Amanda. And Amanda works at Loverboy and he'll talk smack about her. She doesn't work hard enough. She doesn't get up till 10 o'clock in the morning. So he talks smack about Carl and then also Amanda. However, with the work stuff, there was this storyline on Roni where Sonia Morgan came out with a Prosecco that she called Tipsy Girl. Now, obviously, everyone knows Bethany Frankel's company is called Skinny Girl, and she started as an alcohol company.
Yeah.
Obviously, she's branched out from there, but she still is heavily involved in the alcohol business. And it's called a cheater brand when you do something like that. And they talk all about it on this episode. And so there is some, I'm not saying you have to help the other person and like do a brand deal with them or invest in their company, but there is some work stuff does enter into these reality TV shows, period.
Yeah. Oh, one thing also, because we talked about this before. So all the deals are different, I guess, but I was really under the impression that Loverboy was like under the Bethany clause, like that Bravo gets a piece of it.
No, the Bethany clause is that you don't get a piece of it.
I thought that they made the
No.
Bethany clause afterwards so that you can't have a business on Bravo anymore without.
Oh, maybe that's what it is. And because they didn't get a piece of Skinny Girl. So maybe
so
okay,
the
I
clause
understood
was
it
like
in the
after
reverse.
the fact.
Got
They're
it.
like, we're not doing that
Apologies.
again.
Okay, cool. Did not know that.
So all the deals are different, but they don't necessarily get anything. Like from what I read, they're not getting anything of Loverboy in the right now. Like while he's selling it, while he's schlepping it, it's on the TV, all good, great, fine. But they only would get a piece of Loverboy if somebody were to acquire it.
Oh, so they own stock in the or like they
can't sell it without giving.
They have ownership
them.
in the company.
Yeah, but
That's
like
what he
right
did.
now they're not like getting checks in the mail from current sales or
He might not be in the
current,
black.
Like, yeah. So I
So
guess
they
they can
probably have-
all write it differently. Like, but yeah, you will no longer, because of Bethany, you will no longer get to have just free like reign over your, like it will be a Bravo deal in some fashion. You'll all agree on what it is, but it will be a deal.
My
made with
guess
Bravo.
for Loverboy is because when he started the company, obviously it was a startup while the show was already running. And it's like, well, it's not profitable. So it's not like you have equity in this company. It's not going to pay out every year because we're not making anything. So he probably said, I will just give Bravo equity in the company. And when we sell it, then you make money.
Yeah. Because if they were down 3 million last year, like what's the point?
Unless Bravo, we need more money. So
yeah. Gloria Garibay says something I don't 1000% understand, and I really want to. So I'm just going to read it and hopefully that she'll just explain it. She said, guys, what about Taylor modeling the necklace Shep got Sienna? NTBB LMAO. I think it says, love Sienna, 100% there for a good time, and Shep got so weird. I'm dying to know, what does NTBB mean? Because I've decided it means not to bust balls. But I don't think that makes sense.
My guess is not too bright, and she by accident typed a extra B.
I really want to know what the cool kids know.
Me too.
Very Nerona says, I think the blonde thought she had something there, and it didn't pan out well. Very Nerona. I had what I had.
Someone said, I love how they say the blonde, the guy, and the other chick.
Am I the blonde or the other chick?
You're the other chick.
Mm.
Miss Chic says, just tuning in, have to do a shorty for now, but high five Natalie. I agree. Kyle is a dweeb.
I think Christy also really liked glitter is the herpes of crafting.
Oh yeah, she loved that. The other thing, because this is an edited comment, so she came back, and I love this because it's something that you and I would do because we'd feel bad and be like, but also for the record, she said, I also just want to add that I do not want his business to fail. Like he can be a giant dweeb and we can make fun of him all day, but like nobody is rooting for his business to fail, even if it's solely because Amanda is half owner.
Also, let's be clear. We have opinions, but we are not wishing for anyone's demise.
No, God, no. KRSLP says, I wonder what Craig would say about Hannah and Kyle. I like what Mike had to say this whole show. I think the world does need bullies.
It's true.
That's how the universe works. Opposites are necessary. Come full circle with Hannah and Kyle. Hannah got what she wanted, a comedy special. Kyle is just butthurt because his drink didn't sell. That's on him. Yeah.
Truth.
Wait, look, she's a trained professional. She came to say...
No, she's like, I heard that someone was having a chip.
Yeah, B. Hey, B. I love her so much. Guys, adopt, don't shop. Look at you two could get this big turkey. Show you. B, show your belly.
She'll eat you out of house and home.
She really doesn't. She eats the same as all the other cats.
No, some people are just pleasantly plump.
Yeah.
Big boned.
Yeah.
We love you, B.
Thanks for coming, B. And you guys. Bye.
Bye. Bye, B.
Did you watch the Valley trailer?
Yeah, you sent it to me last night. We texted about it.
Oh, that's right. All the days are running together.
It's okay.
What? That show is going to be
so good. The people are going to love it.
Like I liked the first season and I still just think it was okay. Because there's not enough shows on Bravo. Like they could do more shows. They don't seem like I still, as many as they do, I still find myself needing more content from Bravo. And so I did not hold that show to the highest standard. I was just happy that there was something. And then when we rewatched it, we found the good parts in it, but it was a slog to get there for a minute, you know?
Totally. That's why I dicked out in the beginning.
Exactly. This season seems like it could be,
because we got our foundation in.
Yeah. I'm ordering Taco